There will be no funny business. What we have here is a labor of love and a passion project. It is made with the one who tells my tale and the ecosystem around him in mind. It is a fan project, and given that it involves my source and its story in some manner, do be aware that it is not canon. Do not expect it to be. In fact, I'm quite sure that various details have been quite outdated at this point, at least to some degree. With that awareness, I do hope you enjoy. Now then, let us begin. Sense great evil. This realm, coursing of dark matter. Is this hell? No. I fear this is considerably worse. I hear pleas from afar, but not from the souls of the depths. Whatever this place is, whoever is suffering, the darkness shall not last for long. I will admit this is quite an experience for myself. It is not every day that, for someone whose source is quite niche, to be able to partake in something like this. Say in comparison to Sir Makoto, whose source is much more in the mainstream. With that in mind, I suppose we have one simple option, and that is to begin. Gateway to silence. Very well then. Simple enough. With what I'm told, pay attention to the torches. Some will replenish health. Some will replenish mana. Simple enough. Are you kidding me? Of course. Cannot drink too many potions at once. Lest you overdose. On one hand, you cannot skip the move or attack. On the other hand, must keep your distance. Here's an advantage with the hitboxes. And be careful of my own. The fire. And water. Let's be careful. Mana. At least that's what I understand it to be. Simple enough. Simple to understand. Simple to get the hang of. Right. Follow the time. For every third interval, as I understand it. Or every fourth. It's too early. Too late. There. That took longer than it needed. Here we are. Late me arcane. That's quite well adjusted to this as I am her companions, but here we are. Fire, water, lightning, of course. Ah. Energy. Say it's mana, this, I suppose, a commonality by default. Isn't that what it is called in various other sources? Yellow, of course. Let's see here. Impending dusk. I've been having strange dreams of it lately. Some of the most far-fetched I've ever had. Some completely random and out of the blue. Others with completely exaggerated scenarios. And some that made me believe I was on some kind of herbal substance before falling asleep. Though I won't deny many of them have been rather humorous. And it wouldn't normally be a concern if their timing wasn't so impeccable. The world feels hollow. It certainly looks the same when you take a good glance at it. But with such a drastic change in people's behavior, something is wrong. I don't know what it is, but I have a feeling in my gut that not everything is what it seems. And I can't help but shake the feeling that these dreams are connected somehow. As such, I'm going to jot down my experiences with them and keep an archive on any new recurring ones. It sounds ridiculous, but even some of the more ridiculous hypotheses weren't made without substantial proof. Until then, however, dusk approaches. From what I understand, these are not, I suppose, my words. But I shall save that for a different time. Perhaps further along. This place looks like it was built fairly recently, and I could not get the full text box for unknown reason, but let's make do. Have to defend against the monsters scouring around. I wouldn't blame them for it. This realm has become a land of hell. But something about the architecture looks familiar. It's going to be strange. Putting a voice to words that aren't my own, but I would have to. Soldiers, take position. Another is entered. That voice. Maintain your posture. Do not let it get the drop on you. As mentioned, there are going to be outdated notes related to lore. In this case, the appearances of the colony soldiers. These are the colony soldiers, but how are they here? Could it be they were pulled into this world too? Sir, it's not moving. Do we strike? That's probably what it wants. Just keep your ground in case it does something unexpected. Had I not known some of the context beforehand, I would have felt this were similar to prior experiences. But this is a different context, and in this case they had not known better. Not only that, Look at the current state of my appearance there. As you can see of myself here, I am not in that state anymore, but the skeletal state there, that is what I'm most known as. Not going to get any answers by standing silently. You need to know what's going on. Stand down, colony soldiers. I mean you no harm. Well, that was unexpected. You know who we are. Yes, the colony soldiers of the depths, servants under loyalty to Father Tyrants of the Sacred Iris. Cannot forget my mother. She has a role in this as well. You know Father Tyrant as well. Who are you? The matter is irrelevant for the time being. For now I need to know... Wait, that's weapon you're holding. That's the Havoc Scythe. Only Lord Tyrant wields that weapon. Are you the cause of this? What have you done to him? Soldiers, I'm afraid I'm just as lost as you all are. I must assure you I am not responsible for the situation you have found yourselves in. How can we trust you? You could very well be lying to us. If your plan is to be stuck in this plane of existence, I suggest you do. I don't believe any of this. You had better give us one good reason to trust you, or we'll strike you down where you stand. They don't believe me, and are growing hostile at that. I'm afraid I don't have the patience to hold back. I must show them. Well, have you nothing to say? Impossible. You bear the iris. Forgive us for not taking you at face value. Had we known, we wouldn't have made such rash judgments. There is no way you could have known. You were just trying to protect your comrades. Tell me, soldiers, what are your names? Gibraltar, Fire Arcane. Aurelia, Water Arcane. Nocturne, Lightning Arcane. Are there any more of you? Yes, but they are few in number. We're not sure where the rest are since that incident in the depths. Incident. We returned from a fight against the gargantuan beast. Upon sealing it in our sacred stronghold, the Encrypt, we had assumed everything was over. That was until sometime after returning to Prime. An emblem that bore resemblance to the iris appeared before us, and started to pull us inside. The emblem from the Doria caused this. But how come they weren't affected by it? Lord Tyrant tried to save us, but could do little to stop all of us from being pulled away. We desperately tried to hold on, but our efforts were futile. And here we are, whatever this place is. What of you, though? Were you pulled into this realm too? Hardly. I was summoned here after a paradox began to take shape in our world. A paradox. Yes. Events were not adding up, and soon the iris embedded in my own skull imploded, opening a portal into this realm. I came here to find the purpose of these events, and the fact that you are all here, it is clear to me now what caused it all. So you're saying our disappearance from the depths wasn't supposed to happen? And if that's the case, does that mean you're from the future? Regardless if it is the truth or not, I cannot answer that. In that case, can you help us get out of here? Yes, and whatever the rest of the soldiers are, I will help you find them. By the gods, thank you. We're forever in your debt, sire. Whatever is going on in this place, we will do what we can to help you as well. Thank you, Sir Gibraltar. I will make haste to find them. Victor. Mission. Reach the end of the area. Exit your door, following the straight and narrow, but be watchful for the beast's monstrous bellow. Green. Fitting. Only so durable in this realm for reasons unexplained. Right? I suppose that makes sense. The setting of which this takes place is quite different from Big Al as a whole. As such, with the different workings of reality, that would mean that I would not be immune. Quite out of my element at that. Onward. Forward, and on, and on. Of course. As I mentioned, I am not immune to the whims of what this realm contains. As such, I'm not perfect. I pale in comparison to, I suppose, how I should be. This could have benefited from a crouching mechanic, but this was created long ago. As such, I doubt such updates and creations would be viable, if not possibly understandable. Fire event. The lightning arcane fell into the pit. Of course, immunities. I have no proper clue as to how to get to that one potion. However, we have reached the end of the stage. Ah, excellent. Eliminate all enemies. This is anything but an honorable discharge. Take it. For now, we need to place our respite and recover. As it is said, always remember to save often. No matter if it's just a mainstream game or a passion project such as this. Social banter. I was abruptly awoken as this one happened. The people have been more violent than they've ever been before. Even being pushed back by their reactions ranged from emotional breakdowns to fits of rage as they bolted to our homes. This is one of the first futurings I've had since this whole thing started. It's certainly the most common. The getting is usually different every time, but the premise is all the same. Two figures standing side by side, rocking back and forth in a slow demeanor. And with each scenario, they speak about these services that I'm not too familiar with. But from the way they're presented, they appear to be some kind of social platform for people to communicate. Interesting ideas to say the least. But it appears with each one they find different ways to poke fun at it. User experiences, various activities, and even the service itself. Almost like they're focusing on the reality of each one. It's admittedly one of the few dreams that had me chuckling each time I think back to them. Hell, sometimes I try to replicate the laugh they do. Is there a chance I may encounter this one again? Maybe. I believe the initial speculation that our one companion had was that this was DW Daily. Reading the context more, I believe it is a different sort of media. I believe it was it? It is simply known as the reality series. There was one of Skype, I believe there was one of Discord, if I can remember correctly. And this was more of an animated medium, but less take-out, a place to let out your inner corporate greed, treasure collected during your adventure. Regardless of your donation, you'll always be rewarded to aid during your adventure. You're going to need some form of recovery. You're going to need a potion. I'm uncertain what the other offered donation amounts are. That results in mana. Small amounts of it, but mana nonetheless. That structure there, I believe, is a reference to something. I cannot recall the top of my head what it is. Mind your aim, mind your range. And make use and advantage of the hitboxes of both the weapon and the enemy at hand. And below the line of fire. Not arcane, that would be useful. New, of course. I have an alternative. Platform has been revealed. This will be useful later. Of course, like it stands, if you need to follow long enough in your presence, they will offer you an item support, which is useful. Vermilion. Survive all 3 waves of relentless foes. A rather ironic predicament. Continue distance. The benefits of at least having to start over, at least your health returns to 100%. Yes, glare at me and mock me. You fraud. Have to be quick. Now, I cannot recall off the top of my head whether or not I was able to use the arcane of the same. Whether this be stated or not by the one who tells my tale, that I also cannot recall. Either way, I have a feeling that I would have gained the ability to some degree. Second wave down. Now for the third. Careful. Excellent. Took a bit of effort, but you made it. Excellent work, sire. With the soldiers you found, we should be able to proceed into the labyrinth without much struggle. It is a good thing they are safe, at least. How is their recovery coming along? They should be back on their feet in no time. They deserve a moment of solace. You're all wonderful comrades, looking after one another. It is no wonder Lord Tyrant that you are. It feels strange not to trust him as father, but all the same, we're grateful for such kind words. Hopefully you'll be able to meet all of us in due course. You all felt that, right? Oh, God, no. That's the emblem. Brace yourselves, everyone. Prepare to strike. Soldiers, run to that labyrinth as fast as you possibly can, and do not look back. Sire, I said run! Get your soldiers up and run! Now! Understood, sire. Comrades, let's get moving. Not ready for this. I'm not ready for this, given the health bar. Oh, the bipollution. That's the wrong thing. Would understand. Every attack is of a different color. You can carry it. Like that. That was the opposite direction. And you're being charged as you go against the charge. Underestimated it. Are you kidding me? Very well then. Have no choice? Well, give me some time. Perhaps a time skip for good measure. Here we are. Of course, I'm out of mana. I'm not out of options. There. That's much better. From here, spite. With that, I suppose we can conclude this for part 1. There are more stages and more areas to clear, but due to how new I am and the rest of the system as a whole to this, it is going to take some time to become more familiar. I cannot guarantee that every sort of episode would be soon or frequent, but it will be gradual. I will attempt to do this to the best of my ability. This is a love letter to my source, after all. It would not be right to just begin and never pick it up again after the first time. With that said, do take care, everyone. Blessed be the eye of the beholder.